The revelation that the character of Daring Do was a real inhabitant of Equestria in the episode Daring Don't would open the floodgates on a world of possibility from which we are still feeling the result. Accompanying the glimpses of long-forgotten civilizations and stories from Equestria's past, there were hints as to other secrets hidden within plain sight. In the episode Daring Don't, we are given an insight into an ancient, long-forgotten temple referred to as the Fortress of Talocan. Hidden within the dense forests of northwest Equestria, the fortress is implied to have been a centre of great magical power. What is considered most interesting to the society are the presence of a series of statuesque structures that existed within what is implied to be an important gathering point. These structures took on the form of several large primate-like faces, implied to be 5 in total, and were the only ritualistic artworks seen anywhere throughout the temple. Given their pride of place, it's easy to infer that whoever carved these faces considered them of great significance. Could they have been the original builders? Were they a local species of wildlife who were heavily worshipped? Though examples of primates have appeared in the show before, the implication has always been that such animals are rare or only found in tropical climates. How would their image appear at an archaeological site in northwest Equestria? Another ancient temple was revealed in the episode Stranger Than Fanfiction. The edifice, referred to as Kekaa Mustafa, was shown to contain numerous artworks depicting what is assumed to be the early colonization of Equestria. These artworks focus primarily on battles engaged with the local wildlife, including bears, griffins, and what are referred to in passing as serpents. The serpents, as depicted, were huge, green in colour, and highly agile. The only creature seen in the show that matches this creature in general appearance is the water serpent known as Stephen Magnet. That said, there are numerous differences that lead to the conclusion that this species is clearly something else entirely. These include the lack of limbs, the tail rattle, and what is heavily implied to be a feathered crest. Due to the stylized nature of the artwork, it's debatable as to whether the creature depicted is simply a giant snake, or if it has more in common with dragons and sea serpents. One distinguishing feature, however, is the depiction of a greenish fluid-like form that may very well be a form of venom. Interestingly, the notion of dragons breathing out poison is not unheard of in dragon mythology, with creatures such as the Tatzelworm of the Alps and the Ninki Nanka of West Africa being believed to have a harmful effect on witnesses by their mere presence. Whatever this creature originally was, little evidence of its occurrence has been seen in the show up until this point. If it still exists, it most likely roams the isolated sections of the Everfree Forest or other such sparsely populated regions. That only leaves the most recent example in our case files. Originating from the San Palomino Desert, a series of pyramids near the town of Sonnambula contains an array of massive sculptures depicting creatures with the bodies of ponies and the heads of various other animals. Given the context of the San Palomino pyramids, it is currently believed that these creatures represent an early example of religious iconography within Equestria. As such, the theory that these creatures actually existed and were not developed on the creator's imagination is not one that is currently favoured. The only real evidence in its favour are the presence of similar life forms such as the Sphinx. With all this said, the theme of fiction influencing reality is not unknown in the world of MLP. Just because the theory is considered unlikely, it is by no means invalidated. Assuming entities like these did once exist within southern Equestria, their presence could indicate a greater variety of composite life forms in Equestria's past than what is currently seen. A reoccurring theme throughout this analysis has been the implication of creatures from Equestria's past that no longer exist in what is generally regarded as modern day. It has been made no secret that life forms, sentient or otherwise, that were considered dangerous to the growing pony society were frequently demonized and other times disposed of. This is a practice that still continues to this day. Returning to the subjects of the Kekaa Mustafa artworks, the theme of ponies battling such animals takes on a whole new meaning when you realize how tame the modern day bear is compared to its ancient counterpart. Granted, such interpretations could have been the exaggeration of an overactive imagination, but this in itself casts the scene in a much darker light. And what of the mysterious serpent or the northern primates? What other fantastical ecosystems were destroyed in the settlers' desperate bid for control of the land? In essence, places such as the Everfree Forest mark the last remaining sanctuaries of the natural world. What wonders do these locations harbour that is still yet to be discovered? Most unexpected.